Hello, everyone. This is Jen Kitzmiller with the National Weather Service in Missoula with your recorded weather briefing from Sunday, April 27th. So just some of the key points for today's Sunday, going into this afternoon and evening, we are going to see showers and thunderstorms become more numerous with north to northeast winds developing as well. Tonight into Monday morning, we're going to see more moderate precipitation, but it's going to be more focused across southwest Montana into Lemhi County. And in fact, in some of those areas, snow levels will come down as low as 5,000, 5,500 feet, bringing some high elevation snow. Going into the first part of next week, we're looking at cooler, showery, and breezy conditions. However, there is pretty high confidence that we're going to have a significant warm up as we get towards Thursday and Friday. And here's that weather risk outlook matrix, just kind of illustrating that same thing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to be dealing with showers, some wind, maybe even some high elevation snow. But then as we get towards Thursday and Friday, that's when that ridge of high pressure starts to build in and maybe bringing in some windows of time for folks looking at prescribed burning or just outdoor activities in general. So going back to the shorter term, looking at this weather event we have ongoing, this is showing you kind of the low end versus high end precipitation amounts by the time we get to midday Monday. You'll still see that there's quite a range in precipitation amounts where there's fairly high confidence in at least a moderate precipitation event for Lemhi County, southwest Montana. Whereas as you trend to the north and northwest, you'll see those precipitation amounts really drop off pretty quickly. A lot of that's coming in due to the potential for shower activity. And some of those areas further north and west, there's just going to be more variability because of the nature of the showers and where they may or may not develop. If I jump up to the higher end precipitation amounts, you will see that fills in further north and west. But again, the main focus area for the more steady precipitation is going to be across southwest Montana and into Lemhi County in Idaho. So with that in mind, we are going to be looking at snow levels dropping potentially as low as 5,000 feet. And with that, we'll see some high elevation snow. Our highest confidence comes in this area that's kind of circled in white. So Lemhi County, Gilmore Summit, Bannock Pass, Williams Creek Summit. And then for our fire weather zones, the terrain around Dillon and across southwest Montana is likely going to wake up to some snow tomorrow morning. There is still some question marks. It's potential for areas just north of this bubble that I drew, even up into Butte, to see some light snow tomorrow morning. If the system slows down just a little bit more, it could phase better with the lowering snow levels to bring some snow into areas like Butte, Georgetown Lake, but we don't have a ton of confidence of that occurring at this time. Now, moving forward into the latter part of the week, I mentioned a significant warm-up. This is the probability of us hitting 80 degrees on Friday, and you'll see a lot of the valleys in western Montana and north central Idaho showing up with a 70 to 90% chance of hitting 80 degrees on Friday. So it's going to be a pretty big swing. However, it does not look like a long-lasting change, as there's some indications that as early as Saturday, things could flip over. So here's precipitation chances just to give you some of the details. Again, you'll see those mainly focused in the Sunday through early Wednesday timeframe. And then we've got that dry period late Wednesday through most of Friday. Saturday is kind of a questionable day. Some of our models start breaking down that ridge of high pressure pretty early by Saturday, and so we start getting more precipitation. However, there are still some models that linger the ridge over us in this Saturday. So Saturday is still kind of a day that has a lot of question marks on how that's going to evolve. Here's a look at temperatures. Again, you'll see that warmth really showing up as we get towards Thursday, Friday. Minimum RHs, for those of you that may be interested in prescribed burning, there's pretty high confidence that as we get out towards Thursday, Friday, we're going to have widespread RHs into the teens and low 20s. Friday's a day right now, the forecast isn't showing quite as dry, but just seeing some of the recent trends, I think that we will likely see RHs on Friday drop similarly to Thursday. But again, it's not going to last long, and by Saturday that may start to change. And then here's a look at wind gusts. Nothing that stands out as overly strong, but you can see pretty much each day there's at least a little bit of wind in the forecast. So that's all I have for today. Next briefing scheduled for Thursday. As always, give us a call if you have any questions before now and then.